Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of the King's Castle Weekend Edition. King James along with Blair Chopin. And this is going to be a very interesting period over the next 24 hours because tomorrow night, live on the WWE Network, it's the first Raw exclusive pay-per-view Clash of Champions. But before we get there, we got to talk about what's leading in to the show. So, we got to start with this past Monday on Raw. Roman Reigns was obviously incensed that he had been screwed out of another title opportunity by Rusev last week. So as a result of that, and as a result of Seth Rollins' involvement in the number one contenders match, if you will, General Manager Mick Foley made Rusev and Seth Rollins square off against each other in the opening match. And I'll tell you something, those two took each other to the limit all over the arena. The match ultimately ended in a double countout, but Seth Rollins showed how much of a daredevil he can be when he jumped off the stage and tackled Rusev. So that was bad enough in and of itself. But we also found out that tomorrow night at the Clash, it'll be Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the U.S. title in a rematch from SummerSlam. And in my opinion, this has the makings of a crash. Because Roman Reigns proved at SummerSlam that he's a hothead. So there's no way this match is going to go off easy. What do you make of this?
I think it's, we're still not sure what the deal is with Roman Reigns, right? Obviously, he's been kind of denigrated from, being the guy who's always going to hold the highest title or, the guy who's going to be the number one contender for the title.
Right.
So I don't know if he's still kind of being punished by the powers that be, but are they going to make a storyline where he has to earn his way back into title contention? So it's interesting to see what they'll do with this. I mean,
well, I will say
obviously they have bigger pay-per-views coming up as well, so that might factor into it. They might want to continue to develop the storyline with him.
Well, I will say one other thing as far as the Roman Reigns situation. As a result of what happened last week, General Manager Mick Foley decided to have Kevin Owens face Roman Reigns again in a non-title match. This time, however, it was in the confines of a steel cage. And I'll tell you something, these two gave it everything they had, but it came down to the wire because on one side, Roman Reigns was climbing while Kevin Owens was trying to crawl out the door.
Right.
And Roman Reigns ended up winning the match because he hit the floor first. However, after the match was when the biggest twist of the night took place, in my opinion. And that was because after the match, Rusev came out there and tried to help Kevin Owens double team Roman Reigns, locking him in the cage. But guess who ended up coming to his aid?
The Muffin Man.
Nope. The number one contender for the Universal title, Seth Rollins.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a feeling that at least from the Raw side, we will soon see a reuniting of former tag team partners in the Shield. Because
you're right. Very well could be right.
Because Stephanie McMahon made it clear that she and Triple H have pretty much moved on from Seth. So I think that gives Seth good incentive to go out for revenge. But we'll have to see what happens in the title match tomorrow night. Also, from the women's side, there's been a twist in the women's championship match because the triple threat match victory that Sasha sustained on Monday Night Raw last week was actually ruled a double pin because both Sasha and Bayley's shoulders were on the mat. So as a result of that, General Manager Mick Foley has done the right thing, and the women's title match will now be a triple threat.
Ooh.
It'll be Charlotte against Sasha and Bayley. First Diva to gain pinfall or submission wins the match.
Interesting.
Now, I gotta say, Bayley, to this point, is undefeated in singles competition. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, she pinned Charlotte in a non-title match. So if you ask me, Bayley has a clear advantage here.
Right, I would agree.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think you're right about Bayley's clear advantage, and I think it's rather interesting that they made the match a three-way match. I think that makes it more appetizing, and I think they have three wrestlers who have pretty unique skill sets here, so we'll see what happens.
Now here's another question. We all know that recently at SummerSlam, Charlotte won the title back when she defeated Sasha in a one-on-one match, but she also injured Sasha's back. So if you ask me, Sasha has the most to lose here because this could be one of the last chances she gets to regain her title. Does that kind of play into her head, in your opinion?
I don't know if any. I mean, like, that's a strange question because it's not like it might play into her head, but also she's probably thinking like, I need to follow the script that's set out for me.
Well, what I'm saying is sometimes.
Like, she doesn't really decide if she.
Sometimes when the same superstar gets multiple opportunities at a championship, desperation sets in.
I know, but she's not gonna.
If something keeps going wrong.
I know, but she's not gonna be desperate because she has no choice whether to be desperate or not. This is all written before they wrestle, so it's a strange question because whatever, it's all about what the company decides they want to do with her. She has no control over that.
Well,
that might make her anxious, but I don't think it's going to factor in the way she wrestles.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because on one side you could keep Charlotte as the champion and let her continue going on this tirade of power, or you could turn the match. You could turn the championship scene into a seesaw battle between Sasha and Charlotte. Or you can make Bayley into kind of a dark horse. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But straight up, I'm going for Bayley in this match. I'm telling you right now, I'm going for Bayley. So we'll see how that goes. But when we come back, I have some major news as it relates to the SmackDown side of things. So stay right there.